Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Code with Surya Official. In today's video, we will be building a user search and filter app using React and Tailwind CSS. We will working with random users data fetched from the server, and I will show you how to retrieve it. When you reload the page, a sleek skeleton loader will appear while the data is being fetched. Once the data is ready, the skeleton will be replaced with the list of users. In this app, you will be able to search for the users in the left hand side, and on the right hand side you will find a filter option to select a country. Based on the selected country, the user list will get filtered to show relevant data. This site is fully responsive. I will show you how it looks on mobile screen. So this is the mobile version. So I get selected for iPhone 14 Pro Max, and this looks absolutely awesome for this mobile screen. So here I can search and I can filter also. So this is the awesome project that we are going to build today. If you are new to this channel, then please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. And if you are ready, then let's get started. Now I am in the Visual Studio Code editor. I already created a folder, name is Live Search. Inside this folder, we are going to create our React application. So let's set up React and Tailwind CSS project with Vite. So if I come down, so here is the first step. So let's copy this command and go back to the Visual Studio Code editor, and let me open up a new terminal, and I am going to paste it here. So instead of this your project name, I am going to put it here a dot and press enter. So it will generate a project inside this live search folder. So it will ask a framework. So let's select a framework for React, and here it is asking for the variant, and here it is JavaScript. Okay, so here you can see our React application has been created. If you can notice here, there is no node module folder. First we need to do the npm install. So let's write here npm install or npm I. So it will generate the node module folder in the left hand side. Okay, so let's wait for a couple of seconds. So our node module file has been created. So to run this project, we need to write npm run dev. Press enter. Let's copy this localhost and let's go back to the browser and need to paste it here. So you can see this is our React interface. Okay, so our React application is done using Vite. So let's do it quickly for the Tailwind CSS. So here it is showing install Tailwind CSS and other dependencies. So let's copy this command and open a new terminal, and here need to paste. But instead of this, here we need to write tailwind css at the rate 3. So it will install this tailwind css version 3. So press enter. Okay, so the next step is generate our configuration file. So for that, need to copy this command and let's paste it here. So it will generate these two configuration file, that is post config file and tailwind config file. Okay, so let's go back to the browser, and if I come down, so here it is showing in the fifth step configure store path. So if I come down and copy this code snippet, so it is inside this tailwind.config.js file. So let's open up this tailwind.config.js file, and inside this content we need to paste it here. And let's go back to the browser again. And the next step is we are going to add the Tailwind directives to our CSS. So we need to copy this Tailwind utilities and put inside this index.css file. So open up this index.css file and let's remove this code and need to paste it here. So everything is done. Okay, so let's open up this app.jsx component. Before entering into this app.jsx component, let's close this terminal. So let's delete this code, and instead of this we need to create a h1 tag, and here need to write hello reactjs. Okay, and inside this h1 tag I am going to create a class, and here text is 3xl and text is center, and text color should be red 500. so save it and check it in our browser. You can see our Tailwind CSS has not been applied in the screen. Okay, so we have done some changes in our config file. So again, we need to run this project. So for that, need to write npm run dev press enter. It is working fine. Okay, great. So our Tailwind CSS has been applied in the screen. So let's go back to the Visual Studio Code editor. So let's close this terminal and let me zoom it. Okay, so this looks fine. And let me close this side window as well. So let's delete this h1 tag. And here I'm going to create a div. Let's create a class. Mean height is screen and width is full and mx is auto and px is 8 for the mobile screen and for the medium screen px is 14 and py is 6 for the mobile screen and for the medium screen py is 10. Background color should be gray 900 and text color should be white color. So save it and check it in our browser. So here it is. So there is some gap just because of inside this app.css file we need to remove this entire code, save it and run it. So here it is. So this looks fine. So let's go back to the Visual Studio Code editor. Again need to close this side window. So here it is a typo that instead of this min g we need to write min height is screen. So save it and check it in our browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. So our background color has been applied in the screen. Okay, so let's go back to the VS Code and inside this div I am going to create another div. Class name is, we need to put some border here. So border is 2 and border color is gray 700. Rounded top is XL. Padding is 6 and BG color is gray 800 and margin bottom is 6. And inside this div I am going to create our title. So for that need to create a h1 tag and let's write here title is live search filter users. Okay, so save it and check it in our browser. So here it is. Okay, so this looks fine but this title is too small. So for that we need to create a class for this h1 tag. Text is 2xl for the mobile screen and for the medium screen text is 7xl. Okay, so save it and check it in our browser. So this is too big, so we need to change it to 4xl. Save it and check it. Okay, so this looks fine and we need to put font weight is extra bold and margin bottom is 4 and text is center and text color is white color. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So below this title, we need to create a search box in the left hand side and a drop down in the right hand side. So for that, let's go back to the VS Code and here after this h1 tag, I am going to create a div. Inside this div, I am going to create our search box for the left hand side and drop down for the right hand side. So for that, we need to create two divs. So div into 2, press enter, so it will generate this two div. So the first div is content, the search box. So let's create a input type is text and here placeholder is search by name. So let's create a class for this input tag and here padding is 2. We need to put some border here. So border width is full and background color is BG gray 700 and text is white color. Okay, so we need to write here border color is gray 500. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So this is full width. So we need to create a class for this parent div. Margin bottom is 4 and for the medium screen only width will be 1 by 2. So save it and check it in the browser. So here it is. So this looks fine but we need to put some border radius here. So for that rounded is MD. So this looks fine. So the search box is done. So let's do it for the drop down. So select here we need to put our option. So I already copied the option and paste it here. So these are our countries options and let's create a class for this select I just need to copy this entire class from this input tag and we need to paste it here. So save it and check it in our browser. So this is our drop down. So this looks absolutely awesome. Okay, so this is too big. So here also we are doing the same thing. Let's copy this class. Instead of this div, let's paste it here. So save it and check it in our browser. So this looks fine. But our requirement is in the left hand side we have this search box and in the right hand side we have this drop down. So for that, let me create a class for this parent div. So display is flex, width is full, and we need to put some gap here. So gap is 3, and flex direction is column for the mobile screen, and for the medium screen, flex direction will be row. So save it and check it in our browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's check it for the mobile screen. So if it is mobile screen, then you can see. So this is called responsive website. So our header section is done. So let's create the user card. Okay. So for that we need to call the API. Okay. So for that we have this random user generator. So here we have this API endpoint. So let's copy this API endpoint and let's go back to the VS Code. We need to create a constant variable here. So const API endpoint or API URL equal to, we need to put inside this double quote. So after this API, we are going to put a question mark and here need to write results equal to 70. So let's create a useEffect hook for calling this API. Okay, so for that need to create useEffect. So inside this useEffect, we are going to call our API. Okay, so for that, I'm going to use fetch here. So fetch, and inside this fetch, it is API URL, and it is a promise. So let's write here then, and inside this then response such that response dot JSON, and here again need to write dot then we need to write here data such that, and here we are going to console our data. So let's write here data, and after this then block we have a catch block. So if any error is coming here, so we need to display it here. So for that we need to write here catch, and here need to write console.log of error. Okay, so save it, go back to the browser, and let me reload this page. But before that, we need to open up this network tab and let's reload this page. So here you can see this is our API. So now it is in pending state. So let's wait for the fulfill. Now you can see it is fulfilled. So it returns this status code with 200, that is success state. So the payload is result is 70. So you can notice here this is our data. Okay. So we are fetching our data and let's put it inside a state variable. So for that we need to create a state variable here. So const users comma set users equal to useState, and it is a empty array. So you can see here it is a array of object. So that's why I put it here array. Okay. So let's copy this set user, and instead of this we need to paste it here. Okay, so set user is data. Okay, so save it and let's create a console log in the below, and let's check that users is getting the data or not. So save it and check it in the browser. Okay, so our data is getting. So let's check the console. So this is our data. So let's write result also. So after this data, so we need to write here data.results. Okay, great. So this is our data. So you can see this is our array of objects. So this is done. So let's try to display in the below. So let's create a div class is. Okay, so here we are going to use Tailwind CSS grid. So let's write here grid column is grid dash column is 1 for the mobile screen, and for the smaller screen column is 2, and for the medium screen grid column is 3. Okay, and we need to put some gap here, so the gap is 4. So inside this div we are going to render our users data. So for that we need to write users dot map and need to write here user, and inside we are going to create a div. So inside this div I am going to display our image here. So for that I am going to write img, and here the src is user dot. So let's check here. So here you can see users dot pictures dot large image, medium image or thumbnail. So we are going to put this medium image. Okay, so let's write here users dot picture dot. So save it, our image has been loaded in the screen. Okay, so this looks fine. So let's go back to the VS Code, and below this image I am going to create a h2 tag to display our username. So for that user dot name dot first, so it is the first name, and let me copy this one and paste it here, and instead of this first we need to write here last. So first name last name, so this is our first name last name. So below that we need to display our location, that is our country. So for that after this h2 tag we are going to create a p tag, and inside this p tag we are going to write here user dot location dot country. So let's save it and check it in the browser. So you can see, so this is our country. So this is not looking good, so we need to fix it first. So for that let's go back to the VS Code, and let me create a class for this parent div first. Padding is 4, and we need to put some border here. So border is 2, and we need to put some border color here. So border gray 700, and need to put some border radius here. So rounded LG, shadow is SM, and if we hover over this card we can change the shadow to LG, and when we are going to hover over it then we need to change the border color to gray 400. Transition is all, and duration is 300. We need to put some background color here, so BG gray 700. Okay, so this looks fine, but if I hover over this card it is not working. Okay, so it is the typo, and check it in the browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. Hover effect is working fine. Now we need to fix this image name and this country. Okay, so for that we need to create a class for this image tag. Width is 24, height is also 24, and we need to put some border radius here. So rounded is full, mx is auto, and margin bottom is 4. So save it and check it in the browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. Okay, so this is our avatar image. So let's go back to the VS Code again. So let's create a class for this h2 tag, and here text is LG, and font weight is semi bold, and let's write here text is centered, and text color should be white color. So save it and check it in the browser. So this is our full name. Let's do it for this country. So again need to create a class for this p tag, and here text is center and text color should be gray 400. So save it and check it in the browser. So this looks absolutely awesome. So the next step is when I am going to search the name, so that particular car will be displayed here. Okay, so for that let's go back to the VS Code, and let's create another state here. So here let's write const filtered user set filtered user equal to useState of, it is an empty array. So let's do it same thing here. After this set users we need to do it set filter users, again it is data dot result. So you might thinking why this both state. Okay, so just wait, I'll explain everything. So before that, I'm going to create another state, and the state variable name is search, and set search, and here it is use state of empty string. Okay, so let's go back to the input tag, and here need to write after this type is text, need to write value equal to search, and here I'm going to create an event, and the event is on change event. Okay, so here we need to pass it the event, and we need to set the search state here. So the state is e dot target dot value. So save it and check it in the browser. Now I can able to write anything here. Okay, so let's go back to the VS code, and let's write the search logic. So for that we need to create a useEffect hook here. Okay, so the useEffect hook, and here we need to put some dependencies. Search is getting fire. That means if we are going to write anything here, then the use effect will be get called. So let me show you inside this console log search, save it and check it in the browser. Let's write here. If I write anything, then you can see the use effect is getting fire. Okay, so this looks fine. So let's go back to the VS code. So let's write our search logic here. Let me create a variable, and the variable name is filter equal to users. Below that, if it is search, so we need to filter the filter variable. So filter dot filter, and here we need to write user. So inside that I am going to write dollar and user dot name dot first. Again we are going to write user dot name dot last, convert it to lowercase, and then we need to check whether it is includes or not. So includes search dot to lower. So this filter is returning an array, so let's write here filtered equal to this one, and at the last we are going to set the set filtered users equal to filter. So if I am going to write anything here, the data is not getting updated. Okay, so for that what I have to do is I have to change this users to filtered users. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. Let's search it for dev, so you can see it is working fine. Okay, so this looks fine. So our search is working fine, but the thing is you can see here if I search it for dev and if I write anything here, so the data is not showing here. So for that, if it is not there means we need to show it here no record found. Okay, so for that what I have to do is let me write a condition here. Filter users dot length is triple equals to 0. Then we need to write a text here, or else we need to show this one. Okay, so the text is no record found. Okay, so let's write a class for this h1 tag, and let's write text is center text gray 500. So save it and check it in the browser. So you can see here no record found. If I started removing the letter, then you can see all the data is getting loaded, and if I write anything, again it is showing no record found. Okay, so this looks fine. Okay, so our search is working fine, so let's do it for the filter. Okay, so for that again let's go back to the VS code. First we need to create a state variable here. So for that const filter comma set filter equal to use state here of empty string. Inside this we are going to write all as a default value. Okay, so our default value is all. In the select we are going to create a value here. So value is filter. So we are going to create an event here. So the event is on change event, and here again we are going to write e such that set filter equal to e dot target dot value. Okay, so you can see we have this value. So let's go back to the browser, and if I click here and try to select this Australia, then you can see it is Australia, Germany, United Kingdom, like that. So according to this drop down value, we are going to filter this below list. Okay, so for that, let's go back to the VS Code. Let's go back to the dependency useEffect. After this if block, again we are going to write another if filter is not equals to all, then filter user such that user dot location dot to lowercase dot include check filter dot to lowercase. So again this filter is returning a value, so we need to put it inside this filtered. So this filtered value is set this filter user state. Okay, so this is done. So again we need to put it here. This dependency is filter also, and let's do it for the users. Okay, save it and check it in the browser. So if I try to select this Australia, so it is not working. So let me check here. User.location.to lowercase is not a function. So let me check in the code. User.location.to lowercase. Okay, so it is a mistake. User.location.country dot to lowercase. Okay, so save it and check it in the browser. Select this Australia as a country. So you can see all the Australian users are displaying here. So if I search it for United States, then you can see a United States related users is displaying here. Again, if I click this all countries, then you can see all the data is filling out in the below. Okay, so our filter also working fine. So search and filter is done. So the last one is we are going to create our skeleton here. So while loading this page, at the time we are going to show our skeleton. Okay, so for that, first need to create a component here. So the component name is skeleton, skeleton.jsx. So let's write a RFC to generate this component boilerplate. So let's create a class for this div, and padding is 5 and width is full. Okay, and inside this div I am going to create another div, and here the class is animate false and display is flex, and again we need to create another div, flex is 1 and space y is 6 and py is 1. Okay, and inside this div I'm going to create another div, class is height is 2 and width is 2 by 5 and bg color is gray 600 and it is rounded. Okay, so this is our skeleton. So let's go back to the app.jsx component, and here we need to import it in the top. So first import skeleton from skeleton. Okay, so for that we are going to create a state variable, and the state variable name is loading comma set loading equal to use state of true. So initially it is true. Okay, so when the data is success, so set loading is false, and at the same time if it is in the catch block, if it is showing in the error, set loading is false. Okay, so let's write the condition here. So after this div I am going to write here if loading true, then display this skeleton, or else we can display this entire div. Okay, so let's cut and paste it here. So save it and check it in the browser. So if I try to reload this page, then you can see this is our skeleton, but the problem is I created only one. So let me create the others one. So let's copy this div, paste it here, remove this width and paste it for another 2 times. So save it and check it in the browser. So if I reload the page, then you can see this is our skeleton. Again, we need to copy this entire code and let's put it as a React fragment and paste it here for another 3 times. Okay, so save it and check it. So you can see this looks absolutely awesome. So you can see this animation also. So when the API gets called, so at the time the skeleton will be displayed here. So I will show you in the mobile screen as well. So if I change the screen width, then you can see this looks beautiful. So this is fully mobile responsive. So you can see this beautiful skeleton, and when the data is coming, then you can see beautiful. But if I change to bigger screen, then you can see 3 card in a row. But if it is a mobile screen, then you can see 1 card in a row. Okay, so this looks absolutely fine. So this is all about this video. If you found this video helpful, then give it a thumbs up. It really motivates me. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Code with Surya Official. Till then, keep smiling and happy coding. See you in the next video.